The Two Heavy Millions. On March 12, 2021, a Loomis armored vehicle arrived at the Federal Reserve Branch in Denver, Colorado. Inside was 1.2 million in mixed bills. The transport team followed standard procedure, unaware they were being watched by someone with inside information. Aguilar, a former Washington Huskies wide receiver known for his speed on the field, had spent months preparing. His girlfriend, Fawn Huya, worked as a teller at First Bank with access to transport schedules. She had memorized the guard rotations, security protocols, and the exact timing of cash deliveries. At 10:47 a.m., Aguilar approached the vehicle during a precisely timed 3-minute window when the driver was inside and the guard was positioning himself at the entrance. He wore Kevlar gloves, a respirator mask, and carried 3 military-grade duffel bags. The parking lot security cameras captured only his silhouette. Using a code provided by Huya, Aguilar accessed the rear compartment. The cash was stacked in bundled hundreds, 50s, and 20s. Each bundle weighed approximately 1 pound. The total weight of 1.2 million in mixed denomination bills was 112 pounds. Aguilar loaded the first duffel bag, then the second. As he attempted to lift both bags simultaneously, his body tensed visibly on the security footage. He had not anticipated the sheer weight of paper currency. $1 million in cash weighs more than the average adult dog. Sweat formed inside his mask. His breathing became labored. The duffel bag straps cut into his shoulders. After staggering 27 feet from the vehicle, Aguilar abandoned the third bag completely. At the tree line bordering the parking lot, he dropped the remaining bags and fled. 17 minutes later, a maintenance worker discovered the abandoned cash. Police arrived within 4 minutes. Among the evidence collected were the Kevlar gloves Aguilar had removed when his hands began to sweat. The gloves contained trace DNA. The FBI matched the DNA to Aguilar's sample in the system from a 2016 traffic incident. Agents tracked his cell phone to a motel in Fort Collins where they found him still recovering from muscle strain in his shoulders and back. Huya confessed immediately when confronted with text messages between them. They had spent 187 hours planning the heist, discussing weight distribution not once. Aguilar had successfully stolen 1.2 million but couldn't physically carry it away. His body failed where his plan succeeded. Money literally too heavy to steal. The Forgotten Gun. On September 4, 2012, at 11:42 p.m., the Quick Stop convenience store on Jackson Street in Paducah, Kentucky, was nearly empty. The only person inside was the night clerk, Marcus Winters, a 24-year-old community college student who had taken the job 3 months earlier. The store's fluorescent lights cast a harsh glow across the linoleum floor, clearly visible in the security footage later reviewed by Detective Phillips, 29 years old, entered wearing a black hoodie and a bandana covering the lower half of his face. He had spent the previous 8 hours consuming methamphetamine, according to toxicology reports. His pupils were visibly dilated on the store's HD security camera. In his right hand, he carried a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver, stolen from his uncle's gun cabinet 2 days earlier. "Empty the register," Phillips demanded, his voice breaking slightly. The clerk raised his hands immediately. The security footage shows Winters' breathing becoming rapid, his chest visibly rising and falling as he reached toward the register with trembling fingers. The drawer opened with an electronic chime. Inside was $237.18 in various denominations, mostly fives and singles from the evening's transaction. Phillips leaned forward, his attention focused entirely on the cash. The gun remained pointed directly at Winters' chest, maintaining a distance of exactly 27 inches between the barrel and the clerk. What happened next occurred in just 4.7 seconds. Phillips, eager to collect the money more efficiently, used his left hand to start grabbing bills. Finding the process too slow, he momentarily placed the revolver on the counter to free his right hand. The gun made an audible sound as metal contacted laminate surface. Winters reacted instantly. The security video shows no hesitation. In one fluid motion, he reached forward, grabbed the revolver, and pointed it directly at Phillips' face. The tables had turned in less than 5 seconds. "Don't move," Winters said, his voice suddenly steady. The footage shows Phillips freezing completely, his hands still full of crumpled dollar bills. His eyes widened with the sudden realization of what he had done. For 3 minutes and 42 seconds, Winters held Phillips at gunpoint while simultaneously using the store phone to call police. When officers arrived, they found Phillips sitting on the floor, hands on his head, the stolen money scattered around him. In his police interview, Phillips admitted he had simply forgotten he was holding a gun. "I just needed both hands," he explained to the detective. "I didn't think about it." His momentary lapse in awareness transformed him from armed robber to captive in less than 5 seconds, the fastest self-defeating crime in Paducah's recorded history. The Call-Ahead Robbery. On April 9, 2010, at 9:31 a.m., the People's United Bank in Fairfield, Connecticut received an unusual phone call. The bank had been open for precisely 31 minutes. Teller Jennifer Myers, 26, answered the phone on the second ring. "I'm calling to let you know I'm coming to rob you," a male voice stated calmly. "Have the money ready, I don't want to wait." The bank's call recording system captured every word. Myers initially thought it was a prank. The caller specified he wanted $100,000 in large bills with no die packs. He stated his arrival time as about 10 minutes from now. Myers immediately alerted the bank manager, who activated the silent alarm. The standard response time for the Fairfield Police Department was 47 minutes. Within 2 minutes and 23 seconds of the call ending, 2 patrol cars had already positioned themselves strategically around the bank's perimeter. 3 officers entered the building and 2 remained outside. At 9:46 a.m., exactly 15 minutes after the initial call, a blue Toyota Corolla with Connecticut license plates pulled into the bank's parking lot. Bailey, 24 years old, sat in the passenger seat. The driver was his accomplice, a 27-year-old man later identified as Alvin Morin. They had driven at exactly the speed limit the entire way, stopping at all traffic signals. Bank security footage shows the men entering through the main doors. Bailey wore a black baseball cap and sunglasses, but no mask. Morin had made no attempt to disguise his face. They approached the teller window where Myers stood. "We're here for the money," Bailey announced, loud enough for the bank's microphones to capture clearly. Before Myers could respond, Officer James Wilson stepped forward from his position by the loan desk. His weapon was drawn but pointed downward. "Police, don't move," he stated. Bailey and Morin froze instantly. The look of surprise on their faces was visible in the high-definition security footage. The entire attempted robbery lasted 7 seconds from entry to arrest. Officers found no weapons on either man. When questioned about the robbery call, Bailey appeared genuinely confused by the officer's incredulity. "I just didn't want to wait in line," he told detectives during his recorded interview. Analysis of Bailey's phone records showed he had used his personal cell phone to make the warning call. The number was registered under his real name and home address. The call had lasted 67 seconds total. In his apartment, police found a handwritten note detailing the robbery plan, which included Step 1. Call ahead for faster service. Bailey had effectively reserved his own arrest, becoming the first bank robber in Connecticut history to schedule his crime in advance. The Fairfield Police Department still uses the recording in training sessions, categorizing it as the most polite failed robbery attempt in their records. The discount demand. On March 27, 2009, at exactly 9:42 a.m., a man walked into the Credit Suisse branch in Zurich's financial district. The bank had been open for precisely 12 minutes. Security cameras captured his entrance. He wore no mask, no gloves, and carried no bag. The only unusual item he possessed was a plastic toy pistol partially concealed in his jacket pocket. Daniel Mueller, 34, unemployed and with no previous criminal record, approached teller station number 4. The window was staffed by Heidi Baumann, a 29-year veteran of the bank. She had processed approximately 378,000 transactions during her career without incident. The security footage shows Mueller leaning forward, his posture tense but not threatening. "I need 500,000 francs, Mueller whispered, revealing the toy gun in his pocket. The plastic weapon was bright orange at the tip, a safety feature required by Swiss law for all replica fire. Baumann looked at the gun, then back at Mueller's face. The camera captured her expression. Not fear, but confusion. "We don't have that much cash available," Baumann replied calmly. Her hand did not move toward the alarm button located 8 inches from her right knee. "The most I could give you is 10,000 francs. Mueller hesitated for 7 seconds, visibly processing this information. The security footage shows his shoulders slumping slightly. "Okay, I'll take that then," he responded, as if accepting a substitution at a restaurant. Baumann counted out 10,000 francs in mixed denominations, placed them in an envelope, and handed it to Mueller. He thanked her, turned, and walked out. The entire interaction lasted 73 seconds. Baumann activated the alarm 4 seconds after his departure. Mueller was already 20 meters from the bank entrance, walking, not running, toward the main train station. What followed defied conventional criminal behavior. Mueller did not change his appearance. He did not dispose of the toy gun. Instead, he went directly to Zurich Airport and purchased a one-way ticket to Mallorca, Spain, using his real name and passport. He paid in cash with bills from the robbery. Airport security footage shows him passing through the metal detector at 11:23 a.m. The toy gun was clearly visible on the X-ray scanner. Security personnel removed it from his bag but returned it after confirming it was a toy. Mueller boarded Lufthansa flight LH2086 and arrived in Mallorca at 2:17 p.m. Spanish authorities, alerted by Swiss police, arrested him at his hotel the following morning. The remaining 7,241 francs were found in his suitcase, along with the toy gun and a handwritten note that read, "Perhaps I can rob a bank here too." During his trial 3 months later, the presiding judge stated for the court record, "In my 30 years on the bench, I have never seen a crime so poorly conceived that it approaches performance art." Mueller received a reduced sentence of 2 years, with the judge citing, "Criminal ineptitude so profound it almost deserves recognition." The recognized robber. On July 16, 2018, at approximately 2:14 a.m., 3 men entered an apartment building on Westfield Avenue in Camden, New Jersey. The security camera in the lobby captured their arrival. None wore masks. The building's exterior lights clearly illuminated their faces as they approached the entrance. The temperature was 84 degrees Fahrenheit with 76% humidity. Bennett, 27 years old and with 3 previous convictions for petty theft, led the group. Behind him walked Marcus Dawson and Terrell Jackson, both 24. They carried empty backpacks and wore latex gloves despite the summer heat. The lobby security footage shows them checking apartment numbers on the directory panel. At 2:17 a.m., they reached apartment 3C. Bennett produced a credit card from his wallet and slipped it between the door and frame. The lock disengaged after 31 seconds of manipulation. The 3 men entered quietly, unaware that the apartment's layout was familiar to Bennett for a specific reason. Inside, 26-year-old Sarah Mitchell was asleep in the bedroom. She had moved into the apartment 72 days earlier. The sound of footsteps in her living room woke her at 2:19 a.m. Through her partially open bedroom door, she observed 3 silhouettes disconnecting her 55-inch television and unplugging her PlayStation 5. Mitchell reached for her phone and dialed 911. The call connected at 2:20 a.m. "There are burglars in my apartment," she whispered to the dispatcher. "One of them is Abel Bennett. I know him. We went to high school together for 4 years. He sat behind me in chemistry class." The 911 recording captured her next words clearly. "Abel, is that you?" Bennett turned toward the bedroom doorway. The overhead light illuminated his face. Recognition registered instantly on both sides. They had not only attended Lincoln High School together from 2009 to 2013, but had also worked at the same McDonald's for 7 months in 2014. "Sarah?" Bennett responded, his voice captured on the 911 call recording. His accomplices froze. Mitchell stepped fully into the doorway, still holding her phone with the active 911 call. The dispatcher heard every word of their exchange. "Are you robbing me?" Mitchell asked. Bennett did not deny it. Instead, he apologized. "I didn't know you lived here," he said. This statement later became key evidence at his trial. Police arrived at 2:28 a.m., exactly 9 minutes after the 911 call began. They found Bennett and his accomplices still in the apartment. The television was halfway to the door. The PlayStation remained on the floor beside the entertainment center. During questioning, Bennett provided officers with his full legal name, current address, and social security number without hesitation. When asked why he so freely offered this information, he replied, "Sarah already knows who I am. We're friends on Facebook." In the subsequent trial, the prosecutor noted that of the 18,472 apartments in Camden, Bennett had randomly selected one occupied by someone who could identify him with 100% certainty. The statistical improbability was calculated at 0.005%. He received 4 years in prison for what the judge called the most personally targeted random burglary in New Jersey history.